Hello, hello, hello. This is our love, also known as the First Lady Coach. Sunday, time for another First Lady Coach moment. Once again, I am Dr. Janice R. Love, also the First Lady Coach, and I equip seasoned pastors' to have an authentic and harmonious life by the confidence and the courage to serve our own platform. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Let me turn on this chat. So feel free to jump in. Let me know that you are out there. Say hello, something. Let me know that you are there. I love chatting with you. Love, likes, hearts, whatever it is that you want to do. But once again, come on out and say hello and let me know that you are there. Welcome. It is Sunday night. Again, time for another First Lady Coach moment. So glad to see everybody out. Identify yourself. So it is the day of July. Did anybody else realize that today, with it being the very last day of July? Hey, Deborah, good one. But yes, it's this year is almost over. Can you believe that? It is almost gone. Only 5 months left in the year. And somebody the other day told me how many days it was to Christmas. I wasn't trying to hear it, right? The time is moving too fast. It seems Memorial Day one week, and then is August starting tomorrow. So anyway, and today happens to be my mother's birthday, which if she was still with us, she would have been 93 years old. It's been a good day. I was wondering why I woke up early this morning, but probably because it was my mom's birthday. So I am rejoicing because I know where she is and I miss her. But I am rejoicing that she is celebrating up there with angels, with Jesus, and I'm just um, what can I say? So anyway, that kind of brings me to our topic that all throughout the day in the back of my mind has been the fact that it's my mom's birthday, and we have thoughts in our minds all the time. You can't get by through your day without having thoughts. In fact, they say we have some 60,000 thoughts a day, and I'm not gonna get into how many thoughts that equates to, but that's a whole lot of thinking going on. Aren't you glad that people cannot read our minds? Eh, Can I get an amen? Is anybody glad that people can't read our minds? But my husband swears that he can read mine, and sometimes I act like I can read his too. But oftentimes, if we're having a discussion and maybe I get quiet or something, my husband will say, Janice, I see your thought bubble. He says this to me all the time because we've been together for so long that his mind thinks that he can read my mind. Now, he can realize or exactly what I am thinking at that moment. But you know what? He doesn't really know what I'm thinking sometime. And aren't you glad again that people cannot read our minds? Again, the truth is people cannot read our minds, but the thing is we know what's going on in those thought bubbles. Have you ever had a song that got stuck in your head? That happens to me sometimes. In fact, they were singing a song this morning that I got stuck in my head and I just kept singing it, kept going in my mind. And that's the way our minds work. Sometimes we can get stuck on something that just will to go away. No matter how we try to focus our minds on something else, our will keep doing what they want to do. Again, because it's all these 60,000 thoughts a day going through our mind. So when we talk about a thought bubble, we all have them. You've seen those cartoons where they have going up and a big bubble up here that tells you what a person is. And I love seeing those because again, it's I love getting into hearts and minds and knowing what other people are thinking. See these cartoons, we see this thought bubble. So when you define what a thought bubble is, it's these images, it's these words, it's the ideas or pictures you plant in your brain. For instance, have you ever been preparing a speech of some kind? In fact, like I'm going live here, have you ever been preparing to be in front of people doing a speech or anything, and you found yourself imagining what you look like, saying what you actually say, what you are doing, and that thought bubble can stick in your mind. But what happens is fear infuses into that thought bubble and causes us to become afraid. Again, perfect example is going live in front of people or actually speaking in front of people. That's one of the number one fears that people have is speaking in front of other people. If you have it, let me know. Like right now, they're out here. I don't know what they're thinking, but I'm gonna say what I have to say, and I have come a long way because I remember the first time I was going live, I was shaking so bad, I did not know what to do, and again, it's because I had put this thought bubble in my head of what was or what people were thinking. So anyway, let's move on from there. But our thought bubbles can taint our perspective. It can to not do some things. It can cause us to have a certain amount of fear, and it can cause us to lose the confidence that we thought we had. Now, many of us, if you ask us if we have confidence, we probably would raise our hands. But the truth is, a lot of us are dealing with confidence related issues, and it's all because of these thought bubbles that we put in our head. Things like, or I'm going to fail, going to talk about me, or I've never been able to. Everybody is going to laugh at me. Everybody is going to think. And we'll play this song in our heads, again, stuck in that thought bubble, and will keep us from doing the very things that will confidence to continue to move forward with the things that God has for us. So Satan wants nothing better than for you to have that thought bubble that keeps you from doing again those things that Satan wants to kill your confidence. And he does a good job of it again by planting those and all of these thoughts that we had. Again, those 60,000 thoughts, a lot of them are negative. A lot of them are the same over and over again. Again, things that have been planted in our heads. Think about the expectations that people have placed on us. So that thought bubble starts to think, I'm not good enough, especially in the pastor's wife arena. I'm not holy enough. I come from a different kind of past, or they think I'm supposed to be this or that. Expectations, they will plant those thought bubbles of seeing people talking about you, right? Of feeling like are a failure or again not holy enough. All right. So those things are blocking our confidence. Let me tell you how you can burst those thought bubbles on this evening. Let's talk about how we can burst those thought bubbles because we continue to carry them around. Again, they are continuing to block our confidence. So here's how you can burst those that keep blocking your confidence. Is to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. Again, when I started doing lives, I actually had to do it so that I would quit piling all of these things in my about how I was going. Now, I will tell you, the first time I went live on Facebook the first time. Went live, and guess what? It was sideways because I didn't even know how to work the thing, but I did it. And you know what? The amazing thing is that when you step out on faith, people are going to support you. I had more likes on that video than I've had in the last 5 years since I have been doing this because again, I stepped out on faith. I burst that bubble that said that they were gonna might have laughed about my sideways video, but I actually got an award for doing that video because I stepped out on faith and did it. I did it afraid. And sometimes we have to do that. So again, the first thing you should do in order to burst that thought bubble because again, you don't know until you that what the enemy is telling you is a lie in the first place. You won't know till you try it. So the first thing you can do is to step out there and do the very thing that frightens you. All right, you got that? That's the first thing you should do. Again, Do something that makes you feel because you've probably been playing some things around in your head about doing that very thing, and it's not as bad as what you thought it was going to be. So again, do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and that begins to train your brain to not listen to that thought bubble. In fact, you burst. All right. So the second I want you to do is I want you to just think about what is the worst thing that can happen? What is the worst thing that can happen? Oftentimes, our minds will tell us about something that will go on and on and on and on. It's amazing how our minds can tell a whole story behind one thing. Such a give you an example. If I'm going to be late for work, our minds can take the late for work to take it all the way to that you have lost your job, to you are standing in the food line, your family is struggling. You can make up in your mind will keep going to find the very worst case scenario, and it's way beyond what for one simple thing. So the thing we have to do is think about what's the worst thing that can happen. And many times, it's not even worth worrying about. We've spent a whole lot of energy and time worrying about something that probably can't. And if that worst thing we imagine happens, it's probably not that bad after all. We've probably learned something. All right, so that's the second thing that you can think about and even define it. Write it out. What is the worst thing that can happen? And again, oftentimes it's something that doesn't even matter in the first place. Okay, so what? If I made a mistake on my first live, right? I could delete it, right? I don't know who's talking about me because far as I'm concerned, I'm just talking to a screen looking at myself, right? Nobody's gonna tell me. So, again, the worst thing that can happen is probably not going to happen. In most cases, it is not going to happen. All right? So then the third thing is to challenge your bubble. You see that bubble pop up telling you what you can't do or who you are not, use that bubble. Don't let the bubble just get away with staying there without you challenging it. So here's how to challenge it. Let's say you have a thought bubble that others are going to judge you. This happens so many times for passersby. We always feel like someone is going to judge us for what we say, what we do, what we wear, how we represent, where we what we do and again what we don't do. We always feel like someone is going to judge us. Anybody else dealt with that before? You always had this that someone was going to judge you. In fact, today we we had our 154th anniversary at our church. Very exciting day for the life of our church. We celebrate our 154th anniversary. So the colors were lavender and gray. So I was trying to find something to wear. Couldn't find anything to wear. Ended up finding a lovely lavender dress. Getting dressed this morning, I began to think about the fact that the dress that I wore 10 years have been afraid to wear the dress, and it was all because it was sleeveless. Now, I know I'm old school, but I came from a time where women, especially pastors' wives, shouldn't even be in church with sleeveless dresses on, and God forbid, no pantyhose, right? But, I had to think about in my mind that, a lot of those things were just bubbles, right? Bubbles that people were going to judge us for what we wear again and what we say and what we do. Anyway, when you have this thought bubble, one way to challenge it is to say, who? Name the who. Who's going to talk about it? Name the who. Okay? Challenge the bubble. And again, many times it's not someone else, it's us that is thinking that versus someone really talking about us. And if they do talk about us, again, are they going to tell you? What are they going to do about it? So challenge that bubble. Look for things like if you hear yourself saying always, this always happens to me, or this never I never am able to do this, body or everybody. If you hear the saying any of those things, everybody's going to laugh at me. Nobody values me. Nobody appreciates me. I never get appreciated. I do. If you hear yourself using those words, you need to challenge those words because they are not 100%. They can't laugh at you. You are not always whatever. It's not possible that nobody likes you. So catch yourself and challenge those that could not possibly be true. And then finally, get specific. Get specific about what the bubble is saying, and then you'll clearly understand that it's all your mind is doing to set you up to attempt for you to for just the enemy, trying to destroy your confidence, trying to keep you from doing the great things that God has for you, and just trying to gain your confidence so that you cannot be who you became to be for such a time as this. All right, so hopefully, as you are having these thought bubbles, you now know burst those thought bubbles that are blocking your confidence. All right. All right. So that's all I have on that. But thank you all for coming out tonight. I can't see quite who it is out there. There's several out there. Hopefully you have been leaving comments, but I can't to make sure that you get approved to leave chat comments on here. So I'll post that link in a couple of different places so that if you want to leave comments, you can do that. All right. So I am Dr. Janice R. Love, also known as the First Lady Coach, seasoned pastors' wives to have an authentic and harmonious life by having that clarity, the confidence, and the courage to stand on their own platform. And one way you can do that is by being able to block or burst those thought bubbles that the enemy tries to place in your mind to keep you from being all that God wants you to be or he created you to be. All right, so I come out here every Sunday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. So join me next Sunday night for another moment. It'll be the first Sunday in August. Can you believe that? Join me for another moment. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you.